coming in, keeping you from doing your work. We've had complaints from the public about Chuck being here.
Loafers.
And you've had complaints about the town employees hanging out in here. How can we know that and take that away from a he said, she said situation unless we have eyes on the situation? So, we can't make a vote tonight. I want Keith to be
Yeah, we
here.
can.
Well, I would,
I mean,
you,
we can wait for Keith. I'm not, well, we can't take a vote. This is a special meeting. Not an executive.
I would prefer that we have the third member
Fine.
here. This is a dramatic situation that I think that if he has something to say about it, he should be entitled to voice his opinion. But referring back to our conversation with the State Board of Accounts, do all of your file cabinets lock?
All of them that contain confidential information.
Correct. They do?
Yes. Except for the records upstairs.
Right, which isn't down here in the public space.
But there could be a lock put on that door. All of them could be locked.
And the desk locks.
Are your computers set up on a password lock? They are. Is that a yes?
Yeah, I just thought security was supposed to be addressed is that supposed to be addressed in an
No.
executive session, security?
I think we should, if they wanted to.
Okay, but to answer your question, yes, sir.
There has been so much publicly drugged out over the condition of our being locked out that the discussion of security cameras at this point in a public meeting, I don't care. I don't.
The other thing, I don't know if she provided you with a copy of this letter, but the clerk treasurer has also retained counsel to represent her in this dispute with the town board. Their complaint is that she doesn't want to be moved from this space, as I read the letter. That doesn't mention the locking issue, it mentions the...
Well,
Do we have a copy of that?
I have this copy, I don't know if you guys...
no, we weren't aware that she's retained counsel.
And I
But,
assume that...
you know,
was that retained, let me ask a question, was that retained at the town's expense?
Yes,
And how much has the town paid for that already?
none at this time.
And there's no retainer to these funds?
I believe, yeah, there's a retainer.
Okay, how much was the retainer that the town paid?
Well, no, I've not paid any upfront, no. It's $150.
Per hour?
in the event that this is pursued and lost, does the town still have to pay that money, or can we turn around and charge for these funds?
There isn't any...
It's a moot point at this.
The
Well,
town will be...
I-
to pay the fees.
It's unfortunate that you did this. You have the complete right to do so, but if the State Board of Accounts is telling us that we are in compliance by having everything locked, you just wasted a whole bunch of the town's money because we don't have to move you.
Right, I don't think that there's any indication that... As far as I know, there wasn't any communication we were moving her. Or that there was any...
There has not been any official communication of it. There's been discussions publicly about options that we could offer.
Well, in
But-
fact, we had, months ago, we talked about moving it, for God's sakes.
And moreover, to quote State Board of Accounts, they actually recommended moving you.
In the communication I received from Charlie by email, he had said that you guys were considering moving me to the other side of the building as well.
Well, we're considering, we'd have to look at our
Actually,
options.
what Mr.
I
Pride
think-
said was that you should jump at the chance to have that office because it would provide you a private space, but that was just one of many alternatives that were discussed.
So, be that as it may, that's your prerogative. But I don't think that we have officially decided anything including,
Well, I know we haven't.
No, there's been no discussion about it on the record, and it wasn't official with him. It was simply, Q&A on what options there were and what his office's opinion was, which really isn't binding, but what their opinion was, at least historically,
I see that
on
again.
whether or not you could lock the board out, which was no. Their opinion was no, that you could not, since we had provided locking cabinets and desks. And he said that's been their answer historically for many years to any town.
I guess it's all who you asked then up there, huh?
He said that his partner gave you information that was not based
It
on.
was bad
It was
information.
bad information, and he indicated it was not based on a full explanation from you as to what was going on. Basically, that they didn't have a full picture of what was going on. That's what his indication was. He said that he didn't know until late last week that this was all one room first. He said he'd never been here, and he didn't have a good idea. Is that what, do you?
That's exactly what he said.
For the money that you're both spending on attorneys, you could build walls for her office and put a
Well,
lock
we'll
on the
keep
door.
this in at the table here, please.
Yeah, that's what
until-
I said.
Till there's public discussion, and then we'll, go ahead, Rita.
Well, we'll need to respond. I mean, I'll call him, but I don't really see an issue. I don't really see a actionable issue at this point. His concerns seem to be around the move, a possible move, and we haven't even contemplated a move.
No, we really haven't, and honestly,
Well, we talked about moving it back there. I remember that quite well, in that room behind there, a long time ago, before this ever came up, and it seemed agreeable at the time. Not now, but, we've looked at that room 2 or 3 times.
well,
It's not,
any conversations that I've been a part of, as far as being on the board, we haven't officially discussed moving
No,
Beth.
I missed one meeting
The,
this past month.
the,
but
the conversations about people behind the counter, I understand you had a conversation with Steve Barker and Scott Noble about somebody messing with your computer.
And Nestor was there.
When did that happen? Because my understanding is the locks were changed shortly after, what was it?
like the February.
Yeah. So if it happened between then and now, the only access to this building has been you and Shakira.
Shakira didn't have a
And
key
Shakira didn't
for a
have a
good
key.
portion of that time. I don't know if she has one now, but she didn't have for several weeks.
So, the public record, and the personnel files is our, as a board, as a town, that's our number one concern, to make sure it's secure and doesn't leave this building. As far as walls, I don't see what walls are gonna do. We don't have the money to fix this floor. But if the state says that we are in compliance with the setup that we currently have, and there's no actionable item on that to the public's comment about the money that we're spending on attorneys, we haven't spent anything because we haven't done anything. All we've done is get locked out of town hall, which I believe will be corrected at the conclusion of this meeting. And then we can go about our business as we should. I don't understand why the conversation of security in this building sparked this catastrophic event. But it's not for me to understand. I'm one of 3. We will have the discussions about our security system in our regular scheduled board meeting. And that's, from my standpoint, that's all that really needs to be said. There was nothing else that Mr. Pride told us that would give him concern or give us concern, other than the fact that he strongly was recommending it. He thought it would be a fantastic idea.
the open door law says you may have discussions of security systems in a executive meeting. It doesn't say you
Well,
must.
just say you have to.
No. It's optional. And if we're talking about standard types of security, I mean, they're talking about how the public might know how to
Right,
breach
I know.
a system, so, you know, there's no problem here with that.
I'm not concerned with that.
Well, I was concerned when the police department told me that there was a potential breach